expect heavy spoilers for every single game on this list. I'm not going to shy away from talking about events or deaths or anything that happens to these characters. So if you see a character on this list from a franchise you want to play or you're interested and you're scared for spoilers of it, just skip through it or mute it. Just you're at risk, okay? I'm putting you at risk, buddy.
I'm so sorry. I really don't have time to explain. I have a universe to set right. Thank you, and goodbye.
Richtofen is one of my OG characters. He's one of the characters that I've known since childhood, and I probably would put him on the list without even knowing like any of the story behind him. And I'm gonna be a little hazy because, like, for me, prime Treyarch Zombies was World at War to BO3, and BO4. Although like I didn't enjoy that and I didn't play it a ton. Looking back at where Zombies is now, I can look at that and say, like, at least it retains some of what I love about Treyarch Zombies. But Richtofen was kind of just like a lot of the other characters, like Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, stereotypical and funny for the bits and pieces they would say of whatever stereotype they were portraying. And when you go in the layers and you learn the story behind it, and especially like in BO3, BO2, when they start putting the story at a more forefront, you get to learn about the depths of Richtofen. But those are always there since like World at War and the radios and the experiments with Maxis on Samantha. And then you got BO2 with the radio towers, the moon pyramid Easter egg. A lot of like, I have not done every Easter egg. I am not Zombies. I get bored. So I really tap out around like round 30 most of the time. But BO3, I did a lot of the Easter eggs, and that was a very fun story to do for like Richtofen with Derizen Drock, and then like Shadows of Evil when he pops up. You know, there's a lot of moments I wish I had enough self-control and also enough skill to navigate them and finish them without knowing the moments as they happened. Rather than like most of the moments I see that I even experienced, I watched through YouTube first. But the Black Ops Zombies storyline was very convoluted, but also fun at the time it was happening. And it's going to be forgotten to time because it's like a niche community. Because there is Call of Duty, which is huge. But then there's Zombies, which is a fraction of the people that just play campaign that never touch it. And the multiplayer people. And then even within Zombies, there's like the people that play Zombies, have fun with it, more casual. And there's like the hardcore people, and then there's like the story people. And the story in Zombies was very fascinating. Like, even though I will not put Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai on this list, they are all great characters and had a real shot of making this list. And if it was like 200 characters, they would all be on this list. I can guarantee that. But when it comes down to it, Richtofen is the main character of the group. He's the one that has like the most personal moments, the one you can empathize with the most. Even in BL4, like with the Blood of the Dead moment. And then there's like all this timeline and stuff. And again, I am not the guy to do that, especially now because I've been out of the loop for Zombies for a while, so I am not as up to date with like this Richtofen killing this Richtofen and there's different timelines. Like, all I know is the Richtofen that I experienced, the storyline from World at War to BL4, I had a great time with. And I think he is back in the modern Call of Duty Zombies. Zombies, for me, I'm just kind of done with. So, unless they made like a single-player Zombies game, or not single-player, I think that inherently goes against what Zombies is. But if they like made a full Zombies game that made the story not like spin around a fucking chest and knife it, and then you get along the Easter egg, like a more like story-focused zombie mode, I probably wouldn't care to like actually experience it anytime soon. But for all the things Richtofen did from my childhood all the way to BO4, he earned a place high on this list. One of Nolan North's iconic roles, an iconic video game performer, and this is one of his best roles.
You're a doctor? Great! Don't you know who I am? I have been witness to miracles and calamities! Dimensions born und collapse! Walk a path no other can take. No! I want to be the man who cannot have my word! I wanted to keep going. This is me. Most faces. You won't even remember.
Whoa there, cowboy. That's for leaving me at the dock.
What the hell are you doing here?
Listen, I'm a good enough reporter to follow a couple of no-luck tomb robbers.
Elena likes Sully throughout all 4 games, but in my opinion, Elena just has a bigger role than Sully does in the games. Especially, like, I don't really feel like there's a game where Elena really takes a back seat. Uncharted 2, there is the Chloe and Nate dynamic, but Elena comes in about like what feels about halfway or a little before hitting the halfway point, and then she's prominent throughout the story. And you know, some of the most emotional moments with Elena happen in that game when they fake out her fucking death. And I forgot that happened when I was replaying. It's like, damn, I know Elena lives, but goddamn, she is going through it in ways I did not remember. Uncharted 1, obviously, that's the formation of her relationship with Nate, and you also get to see a lot of Nate's personality and how he is able to scam Elena. And that's Elena kind of learning about this underground world with treasure hunting, and not just like being a reporter, but being on the boots ground of these treasure hunting and these military operations and these people that are all out for themselves. Elena learns about a lot through Uncharted 1, but still keeps her core of what she wants to do, and that is like tell stories, try to expose like corruption in governments. That's why she's where she is in Uncharted 2. Uncharted 3 has a bigger focus with Sully and Nate, but there's also this underlying theme of like Nate needs to repair his marriage with Elena that is underlined throughout the whole game, and it leads them to have a happy ending there. And then you go into Uncharted 4, and while Elena is in her spot in life that is happy and she just wants to be with Nate, Nate is feeling like an itch to go out and explore. Elena is hurt by Nate leaving him, but Elena is also a G, and she's able to realize quickly what's going on, and there's a confrontation, and like Elena will always be there for Nate, but she also doesn't want to keep doing this life or death shit with him. She wants to settle down, and Nate needed that like one last adventure, and also it's tied with his brother, obviously. But one of my favorite scenes with Elena is like the dinner table scene with all the pirates, and Nate's doing his thing of like explaining how, oh my god, this happened. They were all poisoned. He's basically monologuing about some crazy historical event that happened. It happens at least once in like every game, and Elena is just like seeing this wonder in his eyes, and she realizes like this is just what Nate was like meant to do. That's how I interpret it. It's not like words, it's just in like the facial performance.
And just like that, all the treasure of Libertalia becomes the sole possession of 2 men. These are some of history's greatest pirates, and they all perished in an instant at this very table.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Elena never like wanted Nathan to just be stay at home, go in the attic and shoot your Nerf gun at the baddies, and we can pretend like you're still having your adventures. She understands that thrill. She has it too. She also likes going out there. And then in the epilogue, it's obvious they did do some adventures after, just in a different way, in a more safe way. That's what Elena wanted. She wants that discovery, but she doesn't want the life or death. She wants to settle down in the sense of like not having to fucking worry about a gun being pulled and them dying. The one benefit of there not having been a new Uncharted is that they are living out that happily ever after. It's something, when you bring a franchise back, you are re-throwing characters in trauma. So there is a certain like joy of when a franchise ends, and like Uncharted is at a place where it can end and never come back, and like we have the happy ending, and to us there's still a part of me that's like they don't need to touch it. I just love the gameplay of it. They do have like I think her name's Cassie Drake, so they do have like a character that could continue, but I just love where it ended up. So yeah, that's it for Elena.
Time out. You're saying that you were attacked by pirates after you found the coffin of Sir Francis Drake. Is that right?
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
right.
it. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Language.
Crap.
Better.
Alright, so keep going. What does Drake look like? Was it gross?
Actually, he wasn't in there. Yeah, just his journal with a map to El Dorado.
The City of Gold?
That's the legend. Turned out it was just a statue. A cursed statue.
No way, seriously?
Yeah, seriously. But I'll get back to that later. See, the map led us to
I'm really sorry about your ring.
Yeah, it's all right. I swapped it for something better.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. City.
The last BioShock character to make it on this list. A great franchise. There are other characters that I do enjoy that didn't make it, specifically in BioShock 1 with Fontaine. But Andrew Ryan had to make this list. It's not just because we share the same first name. I think he is an incredibly compelling character, and he's one of those characters that every time he speaks, you just want to hear him and just listen to what he is saying, because even if he is a man that, like, at the end of the day did a lot of bad things, he's just fascinating to hear his philosophy and then, like, the stuff he did achieve. Because, yeah, when you get to Rapture, it obviously did end up working out. But his construction with Rapture, and at the time when you're seeing it be constructed, I can see why people would believe in his vision for a different type of world that he was creating away from all this government nonsense. Very stand-up guy in that way. He was creating his own Atlantis. Unfortunately, that does not go well, and as things go on, he kind of disregards the principles that were laid out in front of him that he kind of used as tools for manipulation, I'd almost say. Like a lot of rich people that are ego-driven at their core, it's fitting that his end comes to his own actions, his own ambition. It's fitting that Andrew Ryan's ego and ambition is what brings his own downfall. And yeah, while like in BioShock 1, I wouldn't consider him the main villain. That would be Atlas. He is the driving force for a lot of the game that you are led to believe is the main villain. And he has a lot of standout moments. And I think he is the one that best represents like BioShock in a lot of ways. as Rapture is crumbling and this safe haven he promised to people is being ripped away from him, it leads to doom a lot of the people in an effort to, I would say, save himself. So, at the end of the day, Andrew Ryan, I think, is a bit of a bastard, a hypocrite, and he isn't really as firm on his beliefs as he would make you believe. I think, at the end of the day, it is the power fantasy of having your own underground city. Hey, don't get me wrong. If I had like $1 billion, that I don't even know if $1 billion would be enough to really make Rapture. We'd probably need more than that. But if I had an unimaginable amount of wealth, actually I would never go at the bottom of the ocean to build a city. I am petrified of the bottom of the ocean. But I would, I'd buy an island. And I'd own that island. I wouldn't invite other people. But, the island would not be what you're thinking. It would be private for me, myself, and I. No parties, no dentists, no hatches. No weird stuff. I don't think I can even speak on Andrew Ryan anymore after what I just said. I like Andrew Ryan.
In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? Power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys. You think you have memories. A farm. A family. An airplane. A crash. And then this place. Was there really a family? Did that airplane crash? Or was it hijacked? Forced down. Forced down by something less than a man. Something bred to sleepwalk through life until they are activated by a simple phrase spoken by their kindly master. Was a man sent to kill, or a slave? A man chooses. A slave obeys.
You see that? The last stranding is finally upon us. Victory is mine. That girl ain't got no choice. Accept what's happening. Up close and personal. That old familiar feeling. Kept you waiting, huh? You and me.
If you told me Higgs would be this high on my list after I finished Death Stranding 1, I would have smacked the fuck out of you. But he is. He is. I think Higgs was so good in Death Stranding 2 that he earned his way on this list and got himself this high on it. And, like, I don't want to say Higgs in Death Stranding 1 has nothing redeeming, but I just found it a bit cringe. His best moments were honestly the, like, notes you would read in a bunker. There was, like, a ton of notes, like Higgs' diary, and that gave some insight into how demented he was in an interesting way. But Death Stranding 2 and the time from 1 to 2, I think, made him so much more insane in a more believable way that it made me appreciate every scene. And then, like, I love the flair Kojima gave him. Like, he just gave Troy Baker a guitar and said, "Have fun, kiddo." And Troy Baker did a great job. I think this is, like, Troy Baker's best performance in a long time, and Troy Baker is incredible. I mean, he was just good the year before with Indiana Jones, but here as Higgs, it was just such a fun character that every time Higgs was on screen, I was having a fun time, even though he would be like burning Sam alive, killing someone, or capturing someone. Higgs made every scene a blast. the main reason I can understand him more is that he spent what felt like thousands of years on the beach just alone, and he was able to devise a plan just to get revenge on Fragile and Sam. He was incredibly petty in that way, but he was like, if you're just alone on the beach and it feels like thousands of years, you're going to be hateful, vindictive, but he can still have a good time and play that damn guitar. So I love the fuck out of Higgs. I thought he was great. He was like everything you want in a Kojima villain. Kojima villains are all so much fun. Liquid Snake was a great villain. Solid Snake was a great villain. Even in Snake Eater, the boss is the one that made the list, but there's a lot of fun villains in that game. Ocelot is a fun, like, back and forth character with Snake, and by the time I'm done with his story, I would bet on him making my top 100 characters in a V2 version that comes out 5 years from now. But Higgs shows that Kojima still got it, and he can still create fun villains. And then there's also Amelie, who's like the more serious, not as comedic version. Like, the boss is like a more serious villain. Amelie kind of fits more in that role. Some people could say Amelie isn't a villain. How I interpret Death Stranding 1, Amelie, Bridget, villains. Higgs, just pure villain, and he's fun with it, and he's got a tragic story, and you get that fun fight in Death Stranding once. Higgs, there's no confusing whether he's a villain or not, but it's easy to forget. Higgs worked with Fragile. He was actually close with these people before he became like a terrorist and was influenced, in my opinion, by Amelie. So even Higgs, it might be a bit more in the background and reading through the notes, but Higgs was not always this insane, deranged terrorist individual that you see in Death Stranding 1 and 2. So, yeah, love Higgs.
I'll stay with you by your side. Close your
honest, what is the point of this graveyard? Humans deserve to go extinct, to be forgotten. What do you say? One last dance on top of their old bones?
She's a spacer, lived aboard starships most of her life.
Military service runs in the family. Both her parents were in the Navy.
She saw her whole unit die on a cruise. She could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
This is probably my most controversial ranking for Shepard, because there could be a point in saying, why is Shepard this high? Shepard isn't even really a character. And I would push back on that. I think Shepard is a character. I think ME3 does the best job of fleshing out, the turmoil of war that has an effect on Shepard. And that is going to happen no matter what, even if you're full Renegade or full Paragon. There is those scenes of, like, reflecting with the boy who died and coming to terms with you giving the sacrifice. A lot of people hate the ME3 ending being so, like, 1, 2, or 3. Honestly, I prefer ME2 as, like, the ending for the suicide mission, all the branching paths that have. I wasn't too... I kind of hit the ME3 ending, and I'm like, okay, that's good. It gives good emotional moments. Like, yeah, you'd want more choices, but I thought the emotions hit. So I guess that's where it doesn't bother me as much as for other people. And also, maybe if I was playing them at the time, I'd feel a lot differently. I think they did actually promise there was, like, hundreds of different endings. That's where it gets a little... Fuck. Shepard gets this rank because learning the lore of Shepard and how much of a badass they are from the start of ME1, like even before ME1, like she was put on this mission with the Normandy, given all this exclusive access to things because they are such a badass. And then the impact and the way you can mold your character, it felt like you were actually creating a great character. And there were obviously some themes that were always going to be there, whether it's in ME1 with the formation of her, or like being, you know, the leader of the Normandy and having these people look up to you. But like the renegade options, the paragon options, being able to balance them and creating this story of other characters, having Shepard fall in love with someone, then she dies, and you're able to like bring back, then you're brought back to life in ME2, and you like get to pursue that again, and it feels like natural. It felt like Shepard is an actual character. Like if they were to make a Mass Effect series, this is how I'll describe it. If they were to make a Mass Effect series based on the trilogy, they would need to put Shepard in it. Shepard is too integral to every single moment. Where, as with this Baldur's Gate 3 show that takes place after, I don't know what they're going to do, but I look at that and it's like, it would feel weird if the protagonist character was in that one, because they don't feel as integral. Yeah, to the relationship with the characters they are, but that it felt very much like the player was creating those relationships rather than like Shepard is involved in these people's lives, I guess. Not to say Baldur's Gate 3 did it wrong, because I love the way they did it. I just wouldn't consider like the protagonist of Baldur's Gate 3 to be like a character, I guess. It's more just a great way of putting you in the story, like it is, you know, like Dungeons and Dragons. So don't take that as a bash. It is not at all. I just think Commander Shepard more fits in like a character like V, I'd describe, whereas having never finished a Fallout game, Baldur's Gate 3 main character kind of feels like a Fallout character as the main character, that is. An iconic character. One of the type of characters that if it was based on icon status, they're making the list. And then if I'm ranking them based on just how great they are, they make the list. They hit both marks.
All right, game on.
At least we threw one hell of a party. Probably the last one.
Our last one until you finish kicking the Reaper's ass.
Don't turn your back on me, Shepard.
That's the plan.
I made you. I brought you back from the dead.
Joker, lose this channel.
Can't wait to see what the hell you make us do next. It's been a good ride.
The best.
Yes, it is. And you drowned in that sadness a long time ago. You lost.
Harry Dubois is one of those characters in a rut. I mean, the way you start this game, and just like when you go to the mirror and you look at Harry Dubois, and the way his mind talks to himself, and how in a stupor, I guess in a stupor is the best way to describe Harry Dubois. He's a boy in a stupor. And you get to play Disco Elysium, like some of these other characters that will make the list with these choice-based games, and you get to kind of shape if you want redemption or you just want him to be a drunk and like die in a dumpster. I think I've had a couple endings. One of them, I think I'd put him in a dumpster because I didn't have money to rent out a room, and he went in that dumpster and he never woke up, and that was the end of the game. But there are other experiences you get with Harry Dubois that make him have a compelling story. Harry's trying to overcome his past to retain his status as being like a good detective, or earn it back. Actually, is a more fitting way of putting it. He had a past relationship, and he's obviously not gotten over it, and it has led to him dealing with addiction. He's in a bad way, and it takes you as the player. And the game, what I preach about Disco Elysium is it doesn't make him like getting better easy. You really have to work with the conversations with people and like actually with your choices making him not feed into his addiction. But they also, if you want to feed into his addiction, the game will completely let you keep him as a wreck. And it's going to have an impact on the ending, but they give you that freedom. It is not like, it is earned redemption through gameplay, and it feels so meaningful when the game rewards you with like good personal moments and you feel other characters like actually seeing Harry change, especially his partner, Kim. Kim is another great character. Kim was actually on this list, I would say like from point 1 to point 5 version. He got cut off like around December or November when I was creating this list, but he was on it for a good bit, and like I could see a replay where he lands himself back on the list. Like, he was a really good character. Harry was high on this list though, with all the personal moments. You can shape him and mold him, but he's also like so strong however you want to mold him. He's a fantastic character. Even someone like Commander Shepard, I don't think Shepard has as much depth as Harry when it comes to like his backstory. Like, there are some scenes in Disco Elysium with his previous relationship that like, I mean, I'm easy to bring to tears, but they could bring tears to my eye. If you're looking for like a narrative game, especially, you know, if you want to be hitting the feels with like trying to move on, if you have any personal experiences and you want to get wrecked from something that you can see like your own life in on any level, I think Disco Elysium is a great game. It's a very, like, there's a reason people glaze the writing of this game. It is insanely good with the level of directions you can take things in Disco Elysium.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death or war or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry. See you tomorrow.
There's this giant ball there. An evil apes. And the evil apes are juking it out on the board. You're one of them.
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
I have an interesting relationship with Alan Wake, and more just Remedy as a whole, because I love Alan Wake 2 so much. But the other 3 games I've played from Remedy have not hit for me. Alan Wake 1, actually, let me save that one for last. FBC Firebreak, I think that's what it was called. Least favorite game from them. I think that was one of the worst games I played last year. Really not a good experience. I'll just leave it at that. Control. I have moments where I like that game, and maybe on a replay, I might change my perspective. I care about Jesse as a character, but I found the whole setting boring and the combat fun, but wasn't like super engaging. The story I thought was a bit obtuse in a way. I didn't really feel like I was ever super connected to what was going on. Then we got Alan Wake 1, where the gameplay I did not enjoy at all. And Alan Wake as a character I did enjoy, but he was a big asshole in that game. And I love him for it. But Alan Wake 1, he is a bit of a jerk writer who, he's dealing with a lot of stuff going on, alcoholism. I think he also suffers from like imposter syndrome a little bit, thinking he's a bit of a fraud. But Alan Wake's a bit of a, he's cunty, I guess you could say. But Alan Wake 2 is a game that like really hit for me on almost every level. I love that type of game, survival horror. And for that, Alan Wake 2 was like the one game that I look back to. Like, Remedy, even though you're 1 for 4 on like games that I think are really good, here's how I put it. Remedy is 1 for 4 on games that I would give a 7 or higher. Alan Wake 2, that was a 9. That was potentially a Game of the Year, definitely Game of the Year nominee for me, but potentially my Game of the Year for 2022 or 23. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but even though it is a split protagonist one, Saga didn't make the list. She's great, but Alan Wake and him trapped in the other world, I forgot what it's called, but then you got Scratch, and there's these different personalities, and Alan Wake as a character, I just love hearing him speak. He has like an intensity to every single sentence he speaks that makes you really engaged, and he's one of the best like narrator characters. There's another character that happens to fall in this like top 10 who is a narrator in a different type of way. Actually, two. Weird how they all kind of fall in this kind of place, but Alan Wake, it really feels like you're playing out like a book he wrote, and you're living through like a audio novel experience. Alan Wake is also one of those games that really makes you think about how it's not just one performance that makes Alan Wake or any video game character, because the voice of Alan Wake is not the person you see in live action. And if I didn't know that going, or I don't even think I knew that going in. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't be able to guess that happens, because it's so synced up well and both performances fit. Even if that's on his voice, it feels like his voice, and that's why I feel like I gotta credit the person who's actually embodying physically Alan Wake and the voice, because they both do such a good job of representing who he is as a character. I feel like there have been rumors of an Alan Wake 3. I'm curious to see what that explores for the character. At this point, for me, it's really hard to break higher on the list. But Alan Wake, even in the game that I don't love as much, Alan Wake has always brought it to the game. I've always been interested in him as a character. He is great.
Through darkest dark, I'm pushing through.
I had brought the dark place here with me. I never had gotten out. Maybe after this I finally could. It was a fool's hope. I had no choice. I had to do it. That didn't make me any less terrified.
I keep on loving you. For my love's the light, holding you tight, holding you tight. And they can never take that away. I'll change the story where it's saying
It's not a loop.
there is no
It's a spiral.
left to love. And there's no right left to guide us both. I keep you with me through the night.
See you never, asshole.
Now like that! Stick some iron in your mouth and pull the trigger. I can feel it. Our minds touching. I'm like mold on fruit, creeping into you. Nothing I can do about it. You hear me? I'd puke if I fucking could. It's just a copy of the engram. I'm out there somewhere. Gotta be.
Leave me alone! Get out! Just get the fuck out!
Lead to the head, only thing that'll fix this. Hear me, asshole? A bullet to the fucking brain!
Johnny Silverhand is a bastard, but damn is he a great character. I love him so much, and I also hate him, but he's chill like that. I wasn't quite sure if he was being overrated or like how in my mind, if I was overrating him in my mind, because when I initially made this list, he was in the 20s. And then as I was playing through Cyberpunk again, I was like, yeah, I like him, but how did he, I don't see 20s in him. I see 80s or 90s. I don't really see him being in the 20s. Obviously, he remained in the 20s, so we'll get to that. Around the end of Act 2 to all of Act 3, I think is when Silverhand excels, because his relationship with V has like developed to the point where he can really be open with himself, and he can see the flaws he had and the ones V does not possess in him. Some of the best scenes in the game come from him, especially when you go visit Silverhand's grave, if you will, and he's very reflective of the mistakes he made in his life and he still is going to hold that hatred for Arasaka and all of that. But where he really fucks up is his relationship with people. And with V, through you, what I always did every time is I gave up ownership of my body. So he could have his moments with redemption for characters like Carrie, Rogue. I still think he is the person that would blow up Arasaka Tower. It's just kind of his way. And at the end of the game, he does kind of try to push you to make the choice that he wants to take control and he can storm the tower with Rogue. He wants to do it all over again. It kind of feels like a revert to form. But his strength in character is that he does not push that on you to the point where he hates you if you decline him with V. He might be a little manipulative in his way of pushing it to V, but I refused him, and I said, I'm going to go my own way. I believe in myself. I believe Pan Am connections I made. And Silverhand says you might have messed up, but he still deeply cares about me, and he's not going piss baby mode and raging out on me. He just wishes it was the other way around. Another big moment of growth for this character, I think, is towards the end of the game when he wants to give up his, or he doesn't want V to give up his body. Again, it depends on the playthrough you're doing, but for me, Silverhand, he said before I even made the choice, forget it, you're stayed in your body. And I was going to do that anyway. Of course, his actions and his poor relations with people never is able to get him to have complete moments of serenity and able to calm things down. Characters like Rogue, he feels a bit dissatisfied with how that ended. But the overall journey in that growth is an improvement from where they were before Silverhand and V ever combined. I know Cyberpunk 2, whatever that's called, will come out one day, and it probably won't have Silverhand in it as much, at least in as big of a role. But I'm going to miss that so much, and I don't know how you can top this tuberculosis physical form companion. It was such a great journey, and I think his growth and him developing a relationship with V worked out really well for this story. So much so that Silverhand ended up climbing a few spots on a replay because genuinely this ticking time bomb that you can talk to was someone I really got attached to.
Goodbye, V. And never stop fighting. Never fade away. Guess if I had a fave, it'd be that one. Guess I could have done more. Been different. I'm going with all fuck knows where. You're keeping your body.
You can't do it. Senua pushes away a world that conspired to cause so much suffering. There's nothing to go back to, and worse to look forward to. Why don't you join us? Maybe you too have a part to play in this story.
Normally when I do these lists, I spoil them, and every character on this list I will spoil. I'm only going to hold off on Senua. I'm going to spoil her, but I'm not going to completely ruin it because I know Hellblade isn't a game that a ton of people have played. And I'm not even saying you need to play Hellblade 1 and 2. Senua isn't hurt by Hellblade 2, but she isn't this. I think just off Hellblade 1, she would probably end up here, and Hellblade 2 didn't really move her in any sort of way for me. I kind of just still stays here. But that Hellblade 1 experience, just Hellblade as a game, even though people call it a movie game, I think the story can only be told in as great of a way as it is because of the medium of a video game. You need to also play it with headphones in. There's nothing quite like hearing one person snickering in one ear and another one telling you, go back, run out, in your other ear at the same time as Senua is looking at you like this. We are going to go now. It's such a weird experience, but it all makes sense and can only work this way in a game. So you need to play Hellblade. Hellblade is a game you just need to try out. Especially if you're a fan of stories. which I guess a lot of the people that watch this type of video would be. You're not someone that only cares about gameplay if you're on a video called Top 100 Video Game Characters. I would think you actually care about the narrative. And that's what Hellblade 1 does incredibly well and incredibly unique to what gaming is. Senua is trying to reclaim the soul of her lover, Dillian. That's why she's got his head in a bag. And, you know, you just walk around with your lover's head in a bag. Nothing wrong with that. But she's also has demons in her mind she's having to fight that is called the darkness. There's a gameplay mechanic that every time you do die, this darkness goes up your arm and it will consume you and the game will end if you die too many times. And that's where, you know, the whole thing happens. Need to play it. I am not going to spoil this experience. Next time I do one of these on a V2, I will spoil the experience. So be warned that time. But as of now, I would just say you need to play Hellblade. I credit Hellblade with like being one of the games that really got me to love narrative in video games. There's a couple games I'll credit with that, but when I played this, I was probably around like 18, 19. I was starting to go out and explore different types of games. And the two, like, it's the same thing with movies where like I watched Uncut Gems and I watched The Lighthouse and I was like, these are the type of shits I like. I want to see more interesting, weird ass shit like this. Video games, I played Plague Tale and then I played Hellblade. And those, it could have been the other order, but I played those two games and I was like, these games are so fucking gripping and their stories are ones that I'm never going to forget and their characters I will never forget. I want to seek out more stuff like this. And it's still been like that almost, probably, not a decade. It was probably like 2019. So like 7 years on, and I still am always reflecting on these games. I'm always like listening to music from these games because I want to put myself back in what I was feeling when I played them at the time. So, yeah, you really should play Hellblade is the point I'm making. The final thing I'll say, Melina Juergens, the person who plays Senua, I believe was like an editor at Hellblade, or she was a person on the team who ended up taking over the role. Not taking over, but ended up getting the role because she was just so good at it. And like, it's such a weird story that like someone who was on the back end of the game ended up becoming the lead performer because they were just so impressed by her. And she is incredible. She won awards for it, and she's like, there's a reason why this game is so good. And it's her performance, it's the voice's performance, it's the whole immersive nature of what Hellblade is. And even if like 2 did disappoint me a little bit, I still love Senua as a character. I still thought the story was great. It just didn't take a step on like the gameplay front that I was expecting, especially with like how long there was between the games. But Senua is such a phenomenal character. And they definitely didn't ruin her or anything in 2. I just think 1 was such a like type of experience that it really shocked me.
Goodbye, my love. Do not mourn the waves, the leaves, and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again.
Oh no. Oh. It's the rocks. The darkness is coming. The darkness is coming. I won't let you kill me. Wait. What is it? It feels... It's different. It feels... It's okay. Is it okay?
This is where my story once began.
It's different.
And so it has to end here.
It's changed.
Because I cannot see further than this. Follow us.
We have another story to tell.
You want it? A crypto bite a day keeps the time fall away.
I have always enjoyed Fragile's nature and her charm as a character. Does she say cringy lines sometimes? Yes. But I think that's kind of a Kojima staple, and I think Leah Seydoux does such a great job of making them feel authentic to Fragile as a character that they've never bothered me. Along with that, Fragile has been the standout performance, I'd say, in both Death Strandings. In Death Stranding 1, it's about learning about her as a character, her condition, which basically is, I'll describe it as, she was tortured through Timefall, and she did a heroic act in, it was like transporting a nuclear bomb or something. I don't remember exactly. It might have been like a Kojima-ass nuclear bomb, like a body that's about to explode. Basically, Higgs gave a dilemma where Fragile had to hit Timefall and age her body up to save people. And Fragile, of course, did that act, and that led to her having aging across her entire body. Along with, besides her face, she has, a suit, so you never really see this. It's a big character moment when she reveals that to Sam. Sam, I think, is able to connect to Fragile and learns, the power of human connection the most through Fragile. It's also all the people he meets along the way, but Fragile is a key part in his story and his exploration, and I don't think without Fragile, Sam gets to the point where he wants to, not isolate from the world. And then when you go into Death Stranding 2, he is in that point where he's like, fuck the world, but there's a lot of hardship that has happened there. One of the biggest twists in Death Stranding 2 is that Fragile technically died at the start of it, but she didn't really even know it until you entered the final place. I don't remember the exact phrasing of it. Death Stranding is one of those games that, when you're in it, you understand it, but the more you get away from it and the more you, kind of forget all the terms with everything, it fades. So I'm, there, but the terms and all that have forsaken me, as we will say. But Fragile's heart, and she phrased it like she wanted to spend her end days with Sam and, traveling the world, trying to get him in a better place before she left the world, and it's just, such a sweet ending. And then Fragile as a character is beating herself up. She feels like she is the reason Sam couldn't grow up to see Lou or she couldn't. She robbed Sam of seeing Lou grow up completely. So she feels guilt over that. But in reality, Fragile, it was just an unfortunate circumstance. Shit happens, and, she is still a great human being. She really felt like the leader of the Magellan and someone that you could actively look at and see as, a heroic individual. Even when she has her loose cannon moments, Higgs kind of brings out that anger in her, and Higgs also has a lot of hate. They have a weird relationship, friends. Your friend becomes a terrorist, you're probably not going to like them, but, they were your friend. It's a little complicated there. But I've always enjoyed Fragile and Higgs' scene together, because then you get to see that more on his side of Fragile. She's got sick-ass powers. Great performance by Leah Seydoux. Love Fragile.
When you came and found me, I'd lost all memory of what I'd done. The only thing I knew for certain was that I was already dead. And that what little time I had left, I wanted to spend traveling with you. It wasn't until the moment we arrived at Apes's beach that I finally remembered. About Lou, about the jump, about everything that had happened. It's my fault that you never got to watch Lou grow up. Me, who stole all those precious years. I'm so sorry, Sam. I can't give you back the time you've lost. But promise me you'll make the most of your future. With Lou. You will never be alone.